Talking about any report you send to Microsoft from security standpoint comes to my team. We are the front line of defense, and then we pass it on along the baton to the rest of the Microsoft products who's going to actually take the fix. Personally, I've been in security for almost 10 years now. I started from system security background, which means I was really dribbling into the kernel space. I don't know if you know about Win30k system drivers, which is the graphics driver. I started my career from that driver itself, going very deeper into it. And then I decided, okay, enough of this kernel space, let me move to the web side of it. So in the past 2 years to 3 years, I've been going into the web, going deeper, trying to figure out what the hell web is. Also trying to figure out cloud while doing this, because hey, why not, right? So let me try everything that security can offer to me. That's what I've been doing. And I'm so glad to be here with you guys to share all the experiences I have, and let's see where this goes. Thank you.
I work as a manager for security operations and for the Asia team. I mean for the Philippine team. And right now, I'm also a RootCon goon, and my interest really is about application security and car hacking. And then prior to being a manager, I used to triage bugs submitted by hackers. So yeah, I've seen some most of the reports from researchers in some programs. And actually, from time to time, until now, I still triage some bugs. And then, yeah, it's good to be here.
You can never let go of an engineer from anybody else. Like once you are an engineer, you're always going to be an engineer.
Yeah.
Ashley.
Don't interrupt me, Chloe. Hi everyone, I'm Ashley. I'm from Bugcrowd. I'm on the ASE team. Most of you would know me as Ashley Bugcrowd in any reports that you do. I've been in the security space for about a little over 8 years. I started off as a pen tester, doing a lot of stuff that you guys do as well, and moved over into bug bounty space about 3 years ago. I mostly just work with triage work. So if you submit to Bugcrowd, I'm there reproducing your reports, trying to explain it really to clients in a way so that we can try to maximize your rewards and make sure that they understand the bugs as they actually are. That's about it. This is my first time at RootCon, which is great so far, and my first time in the Philippines, so thank you all for the warm welcome.
From those who are in the room who are paying attention to the four lovely people up on stage under very bright lights, I'm wishing I had brought my Raptors hat or my sunglasses. Jay definitely has the right idea here. Okay, so by a show of hands, who in this room, oh yeah, if we could dim the lights just minutely, that would be amazing. Okay, I can actually see. This is much better. Thank you. By show of hands, who in this room right now is actively participating in bounty programs? So who's actually submitted to a bug bounty or to a bug bounty program?
Come on, out yourselves.
It's a good thing if you have. Okay.
People from Invalid Web Security, where are you guys? Because they are actually researchers.
Okay.
I can see HackerOne gear, guys.
Yeah, come on. That really does kind of out you. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so we're going to assume that y'all are just a little shy. Once you have a couple more beers or glasses of wine in you, I expect I'm actually gonna get a bit of a different answer, and that's totally fine. All right, so the reason why we want to ask this is we want to know whether you guys actually know what we're talking about, because that actually shapes some of the way we answer the question. So we're going to assume that there are at least some active hackers in this room, and that's totally cool. The first question we're going to talk about tonight is what types of programs does Microsoft offer, and what types of programs can you find on the Bugcrowd platform, and more importantly, what kinds of targets are within those programs, because those are two kind of different things. So, Vishal, will you take the Microsoft answer, please?
Sure. So there are three broad categories we actually target with our programs. One is Azure, you guys may know about. Office is another big one, and the third one is Windows. So 3 big areas that Microsoft has heavily invested their resources on are the 3 real prime targets. And you can assume Azure being at the forefront of our journey going forward for another, I don't know, maybe a couple of decades. That is basically our primary target, as we are trying to make people more encouraged to go after that as a target. So that's why we're increasing our bounty in that space. But yeah, these are the 3 big targets. We have smaller bounties which are more targeted towards specific applications, like say Dynamics, for instance, is one specific which is called out so that you can start targeting that particular specific applications. Basically, take your focus away from the bigger scope and just move it into a silo world. There are a few more, something like this, but like I said, the bigger picture is there are 3 big ones like Azure, Office, and Windows.
And Vishal, would you say that a lot of it is web-based, API-based? What types of research or what types of attacks would a researcher be working on if they wanted to come and work on a Microsoft bounty?
So Microsoft is fortunate to have a very wide range. Like you can be a cloud researcher, you can be a web researcher, you can be a system researcher, so you can still contribute to either one of the programs that Microsoft has to offer. So really, it's an open game at this point. Whichever skill sets you carry is definitely gonna align with one of the bounty that Microsoft has.
Cool. Jay or Ashley? Which one wants to answer this?
I'll get it. So with Bugcrowd, the kind of programs that we can get or you can try to hack on is pretty much yes. We have IoT, we have device-based programs, we have everything from web applications to APIs to device-based to cars. So if you have a specialty, we can most likely find a program that's right for you. I think the only thing we really don't do is like social engineering, like physical social engineering attacks.
We used to have one program that has.
Yeah, if anyone couldn't hear that, we used to have one program that had that, but now we don't. So pretty much if you have something that you're really passionate about and really good at just breaking down those security protocols and getting your way in, we want you on our platform and we have something that can help challenge you.
Yeah, and to add that, we also have bug bashes wherein we invite researchers to come on site and then hack some devices or cars or other platforms internally. So if you have that kind of special skill set, Bugcrowd actually flies researchers as well for an event, something like that.
Yeah, so it's not just you at home. Like with the bug bashes, I've worked a couple, and they're really fun. You'll have a room kind of like this, and let's say you're hacking on a router. We'll provide you everything you need to take it apart and connect directly to the board. We'll sit there and work out with you if you don't know how to do that. It's a really great learning experience and networking experience.
And Ashley, I think you said you were going to answer this one when we were talking about this earlier.
Our programs, you'll see like on the bounty brief, it'll say reward range P1, 5,000 to 10,000, P2, 1,000 to 5,000, et cetera, et cetera. The way that gets pointed out is based talking with the client and our pre-sales and sales teams. They'll sit there and talk about it in a way of how important is this product to the client? How impactful is this? Will this bug be exploited on that product to the actual end user? And how difficult would it be to actually exploit it? And one of the main things to think about if you're trying to hack and trying to get that P1 and you're wondering why did I only get 5,000 instead of 10,000, it's how did you explain the impact to the ASE team, to me? How did you state your case? If you just said, there's cross-site scripting here, it's a P2, but what can you do with it? Is it standard user to admin? Is it admin to another admin? Is there privilege escalation? What can you actually do with this? That'll help make it so we can help state your case to the client as well. You might only see 1 or 2 messages from us or from the client forward-facing, but I guarantee you there's 10, 15, 20 messages going on in the private messages with the client saying, this is why it should be higher, and maybe they'll push back and say, no, but if we don't have more information from you, we can't really push back and advocate on your behalf.
And I know we didn't talk about this beforehand, and I know it just changed, so I don't actually remember the answer to this.
Yeah.
What is the average reward? Like, there's a sliding scale that Bugcrowd uses for web targets. Specifically for web targets. What's the lowest?
I cannot help there.
Is that?
We have one employee as well, so maybe we can ask them.
Paul, do you remember what the current reward range is? Or the average payout? Is 2,000 still the top for web? Well, I know the top program payout is still 100,000 on Bugcrowd, but I'm trying to remember what the minimum payout was, because I know that just got raised.
Minimum payout,
Yeah.
200.
Did you mean maximum?
No, I was thinking what's the low?
We can look that up and get answers for people later.
Not for P4.
P4, 200 or 100.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there.
Then depends on the program, but there was this one program that I managed before, and because this was a special program, public program, and I've seen a P1 reward which is like 5,000 for a P1 RC,
Yeah.
and then I've also seen 10,000 for a P1 RC. So
Yeah.
it actually
It absolutely
varies.
does. It does. And obviously, you commented a little bit on that, and we're going to pivot to talk about public versus private in a second here. But public programs on Bugcrowd do have tend to have a set scale, whereas private programs might actually go a little bit higher. So, do you guys want to speak to the public versus private aspect of Bugcrowd or Bugcrowd programs?
Do you mean on the amount of like payout expectations?
Yeah, just in general, like what's the difference between public versus private, and more importantly for researchers, how do you get invited to private programs?
So a public versus a private program is public. Everyone in this room can see the program. Anyone in this room can go to bugcrowd.com, load up the programs, make a researcher account, and start hacking. Once I'm not sure what the threshold is right now for kudos points and your reputation. Once you hit a certain reputation point, you'll start getting invited to private programs. Now, the biggest difference here is everyone in this room can hit a public program. So you're going to get duplicated a lot. You're not going to find as many unique vulnerabilities because you have thousands of people hacking on it. With the private program, it's a smaller pool of researchers. So instead of thousands, it might be 100, 50, 10. And so you'll have first shot at the application. You'll be more likely to get unique vulnerabilities, so you have a higher point payout, but you'll also have a higher chance of getting a higher cash payout because these programs are specifically, the researchers are chosen because they're specialities, so the client is prepared to pay for what you know, and they know that you know it because you've proven it on the public programs.
You don't get a lot of competitions from hackers.
Yeah, so less dupes, more points, more cash.
Now, we can't really speak to private programs because we don't actually have any, which I have to admit, coming from a platform environment, actually shocked me a lot, and I'm still reeling from it. But the logic behind it actually makes sense. We're a big company. You guys are already testing us. We want to make sure that your vulnerabilities are coming in and being reported so that we can not only get you paid for fairly and responsibly reported work, but also that our hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of customers can benefit from the fact that you guys found something, you told us about it, and we went and fixed it. That's how we make the world a safer place, right? So,
I think we can all agree Microsoft has millions of users.
well, you know.
What was the largest payout since by Microsoft for a web app, not the tech clients?
Michelle, can you speak to that one?
I'll give you off the top of my head. I think the one that I talked to in my talks, 40,000K is the top that I've seen.
From Taal.
Yeah. There are a few payouts in the pipeline which might go beyond that number, but so far that's the highest we have paid.
But that's not the highest. Now, you asked specifically about web. That isn't the highest potential payout that a researcher can earn on a Microsoft bounty. We, in both Hyper-V and
So hypervisor bounty, which is specific to the Windows platform, is 250. That also requires you to give an exploit. It's not just finding a bug, it's about going one step beyond and actually writing an exploit and showing and proving that the bug is not just a bug, it can actually be exploited as well. Then there is a bounty that we recently launched during Black Hat, was around Azure, which actually is $300,000 bounty, which is also targeting the same hypervisor layer, which is going from guest to the host OS in Azure environment. But it has a little more intrinsic, or I would say a little more hidden information that you have to extract by yourself. That's why there's a 50K bump on the actual payout on the hypervisor side. So yeah, 300,000 is the topmost bounty that we have today.
I would happily take $300,000. Anybody want to share their bounty with me? No? Damn it.
So on that note, we have a few finders who have managed to get 200K bounties in hypervisor space. So that's the highest we've actually paid out, if that would interest you guys.
All right, so we've talked a little bit about what goes into making or classified as a good report, but there's actually a fair amount of differences between how Bugcrowd sees a good report and make that higher payout and what Microsoft asks you to provide in your reports to us. So let's spend a little bit of time talking about those differences. Jay, Ashley, which one of you wants to take that one?
So for a good report on Bugcrowd, you really want to make sure that don't think that you're submitting it to someone technical. Like, yes, I did pen testing. I'm an engineer. I've been doing this for 8.5, almost 9 years. I know that. But so what I'm doing is I'm passing that off to the client, and their point of contact might not be technical. They might be someone who knows how to use Microsoft Word and Jira and push stuff to engineers, and that's it. You need to type up your report as if you're writing it for that person to understand. What that means is every single step in your reproduction written out, the requirements for it. I need one admin account with this setting, this privilege, and I don't know, it's been alive for 1 week. One regular user, this privilege, this like standard and all that. Then the exact settings on, if it's, let's say you're on a Facebook group or a Yahoo fantasy football team, you need to put out the exact settings on that environment as well. And then each and every step, all the way from admin logs in to this address. And then go to your profile by click the arrow in top right to settings, to profile, to this. That way, we don't have to come back to you and you go to profiles. Like, well, which access level? Where is the profile? This is my first day logging into this thing. Any kind of video reproductions showing all those steps as well is always very much appreciated, and any kind of request to response pairs. This makes it so there's less back and forth between us, less back and forth between us and the client, and what that all equals for you at the end of the day is that you get paid faster. Your bugs get accepted faster. There's no ambiguity of what the impact is or any of that. It's all right there in the initial report, and like I just said, that means you get money faster.
Yeah, my key takeaway of that is that, for example, if you're reporting to us, don't just like include the steps, include the URLs as well. And also, like for IDOR, sometimes I hate managing those kind of bugs if the researcher can't explain the privileges or settings for a certain user. So that's why we really ask, as what Ashley said, we really ask what are the settings, what are the parameters, what ID is affected. So.
Yeah, like I just had a researcher's report go from P3 to P1 because I was noticing that it wasn't just standard user to standard user IDOR, it was standard user to admin, posting notes and changing things where it said, admin deleted your note, admin fired X. So giving us that kind of information really, it'll take you from a P5, P4 up to a P1 sometimes. It really is very important to give us that kind of information.
And if you're not good at explaining stuff, PLC video could also help.
Yeah, try to explain it, but a video also always really helps.
Just without background music on it. So.
And if you have a problem with something at Bugcrowd, please reach out to support@bugcrowd.com. That's
again,
the former team.
Once again, that is support@bugcrowd.com.
I promise they actually read all those messages. They go and fight for you. They will go and have a conversation with the ASE, with the program owner, with whomever it takes to make sure that you are being treated properly. I lived it for 3 years. I'm sorry, I'm passionate about that one. All right, Vishal.
All right, so at Microsoft, we have a different kind of philosophy. So one of the things that we want from these bugs is not just the bug itself. Really thinking about it, when you give us a report, what you are giving us what? In terms of, hey, you found this. Okay, that's the bug you found, great. But there are two more information that we are actually seeking out from that report. One is, why did you actually start looking into this area? What interests you? Why? Because really this is a history that we are trying to build within ourselves. If you are interested in this area, maybe the real hackers are also. And maybe they're actually creating exploits out of it today. So we want to understand a little bit of background on what got you interested in this area, why you end up looking into this. Second part is, how did you end up finding this? Like, what were you doing, figuring out what was the environment you were chasing after, what else were you thinking? You found this bug, but we also want to know the story about what you didn't find. Like, for instance, you were looking into this platform, you found multiple blockers before you end up finding this bug. We want to know your story of how you end up finding this bug. And the reason why we want all of this is because for every bug that we receive at Microsoft, we do this exercise by ourselves. Because we want to know what happens when somebody finds this bug, what mentality he has gone through, or she has gone through, and how can we actually be one step ahead of researchers, or most likely the hackers who might be using the same environment, same scenario, same situations like a researcher. And in our opinion, I mean, the hackers who are really doing the exploit side are equivalent to everybody of us from research perspective. So if I mean, even from an inside perspective, if we find a bug, we assume that the hackers have already found it. We want to take from that mentality and move forward and try to get this fixed as soon as we can. So that's the difference we make. And incidentally, we actually put it as part of our reports as well. So the bounty that get adjudicated for a bug is dependent upon the quality of the reports. The higher the quality, which dictates the why and where, what and how, has a higher chance of getting higher bounty. So yeah, so that's the crux.
For Microsoft, it isn't just about a well-written in English report. We know that not everybody speaks English as a native language. That's okay. The point that Vishal is making is that it's actually important for us to understand your thinking, because we're not just looking at it from our perspective. We're going to turn it over to the engineers, who then have to go and understand how you got to that bug, and telling us that story of, here's what I did, here's what I was trying to do, here's what I didn't do or couldn't do, helps them understand how you approach your research, so that we can go and potentially use that same logic in other areas to find things that haven't been reported. We're not just looking at this in one isolated case. We're trying to make all of our products, all of our services, all of our platforms safer by learning from your reports on one specific program. So you guys are helping us immeasurably every time you put that time and that energy into it. And that's why we want to be able to reward you more for the time and effort that you've put in, because we know all have a lot of stuff that you could be doing rather than typing up yet another bug report. All right, so that's most of the questions that we had prepared. I want to get into a little bit of some of the questions that you guys sent in. One of the main themes we actually saw was a lot of questions on how do I get started, or how do I take my more early basic level skills and start to up level them. To be pretty honest, Microsoft, we don't currently offer any kind of training resources. We rely on our partners like Bugcrowd or HackerOne to actually work with you guys to provide some of those. And I know both HackerOne and Bugcrowd has things like the Bugcrowd University, and I don't know off the top of my head the name of HackerOne's version, but they have one too.
HackerOne.
What's the
name of the HackerOne training resources? Do you know off the top of your head? Is it Hacker 101? Okay. Good memory. I don't know.
really
these
from
things.
HackerOne?
So I would definitely recommend, actually I think both Vishal and I would definitely recommend looking at the bounty platforms that have chosen to provide those resources to invest in you guys, because that's part of their plan is, hey, if we provide you good quality resources, we're only going to benefit by it. And those resources, they trickle down. We don't have the resources to be able to produce those ourselves, but if somebody else has already done it, why reinvent the wheel? Go use theirs.
And the inside information, whenever there is an engineer who joins our team, we actually ask them to go to Bugcrowd or HackerOne, their platforms, and learn a few tricks. So yeah, this is totally legit, and I think they are incredible resources that you guys should totally go and use.
We just updated the Bugcrowd University during DEF CON, so we have a lot of modules.
And there's also a lot of really great resources just on YouTube. I just type in basic pen testing, how to use burp, things like that, and what is an IDOR. And there'll be tons of people ready to explain it to you, show you how to execute it, and how to set up your environment.
Or, I don't know, come to RootCon. I mean, there are trainings on the first day that you can take advantage of, right? And I know there was a Hacker 101 earlier today. Is that going to be repeated tomorrow?
No. So on the day 0, we have paid trainings, and then for day 1 we have lockpicking, hacking 101, and then car hacking 101. But the previous years, Jason Haddix and Ryan Black, when they went here, there was a 2-day Bugcrowd University trainings. I don't know what happened.
So what I'm hearing is next year somebody needs to step up from Bugcrowd and run Hacker 101 again.
Not it.
Or Vishal could give a training if he wants.
Absolutely, if I'm coming next year, I'll try that for sure.
He needs a drink. Who are you talking to? Who are you trying to...
My friends. Jamie? Sir Jamie? Yes. Can you give us a drink as well? No. Can you give them shots as well? Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Jay, who's your Bugcrowd crush?
Sean.
That's an evil question.
Bugcrowd crush. Well, if I really don't have crush in Bugcrowd.
Crash proof.
I can't confirm nor deny it.
It's called RootCon.
Yeah. RootCon up. All right. No? Thank you for waiting at least until we were mostly the way through the panel, so I don't actually have to read that much anymore. I appreciate that.
No.
Or?
No.
Okay, alright.
I think that's red tape. I think
It's not
that's
like
red
you're
tape.
driving later.
Okay, this one's for Vishal. What are some tips and tricks for hunting bugs on Microsoft products?
The identity on Microsoft. It has generic tricks. I can tell you I've been looking at this space for 10 years. The best researchers are the ones who are persistent with one platform that pick up and keep drilling into it as long as they can, even if they're not finding bugs. It is just about getting to know the platform in the first place. Second, keep an eye out on new features, which keeps coming all the time. Like I said, I mean, the bugs that people have reported were astonishingly amazing when they found a new feature and gave us the bug within the 1 week of that feature being released. That's the best way to find bugs because that's the right time to actually go and enforce yourself, your knowledge that you've gained in that platform for whatever you've worked so far. Apart from that, I think Microsoft, like I said, it has a very diverse areas that you can actually go and diverge into. It totally depends upon your skill set. If you really want to go and target something or want to learn some new areas, Azure or cloud security is the real right target to go forward with. It's gonna be here to stay for another, I don't know, maybe our lifetimes for that matter. So your skills are never gonna be wasted if you spend some time and energy into getting an understanding of this Azure and cloud platforms in general.
I'm good. Thank you. All right, Jay, we have a question specifically that you're going to have to answer because it's about the Philippines. In your opinion, who is the Mr. Robot of the Philippines?
There's like a lot of good hackers here, so it's hard to compare really. That's a tricky question to say for me.
Is it all of them?
I would say probably during the there was this underground group called Asian Pride before. It's pretty much like the it's early 2000. They really are good hackers. So for me, they're like the Mr. Robot, but I don't know where they are right now. That's it.
That's very fair. You don't have to name someone who's currently hacking. It could be someone from the history. Okay. You probably are also the best person to answer this one, Jay. How would you describe the bug bounty landscape in the Philippines in comparison to what it might be in, say, the US?
For now, same with InfoSec and bug bounty. We are actually taking the baby steps here. InfoSec is in its infancy, so but people are trying to adapt and trying to compete with what US is having, and I would say that for the past years, it's improving. I mean, there's like a lot of bug bounty hunters here in the Philippines as well. Like, for example, Jabs, Clifford, and Clifford works at Bugcrowd now. And, you know, some of us went to Bugcrowd. Some researchers in the Philippines went to Bugcrowd just like me. I used to hunt bugs, but then I got busy with Bugcrowd now. So, yeah, I would say that keeps on improving.
Yeah, one other thing I would like to add, I mean, apart from all the trainings and stuff we are saying here, I think for beginners, it is apparent for you guys to start focusing on CDFs. They are the best way to get to know how to get into this industry. I mean, you can take your own time playing the CDF. You don't have to be having like a challenge or something. But that'll get you started in looking at how a real-world scenario might look like when you start attacking them. So yeah, CDFs is the way to go if you really want to get into this space.
And if it's worth anything, it doesn't just stop when you become a security professional. Microsoft actually runs CTFs internally on a very regular basis. Yeah, to keep up people's skills as well as to bring in new people into the environment of how a CTF works, how your brain needs to work to be able to reach beyond just the XSS or the more common bugs. You sit there and you think through and you solve the challenge, and that's super useful above and beyond just finding your next bug. Oh. I'm gonna need that to keep talking. Right. Okay, so I think we have covered most of what we really wanted to talk about tonight, so thank you, guys. I'm not gonna let you run away just yet. I am going to ask if there are any questions from the audience, if you wanna come up and steal a microphone from one of us. If not, we are about to come out and be mingling between you, and we will come and hunt you down. No, I'm totally kidding. However, I did want to say, if you guys have actually, in the past, tried to submit to Microsoft and didn't go very well, or if it went really awesome, both Vishal and I would love to hear about your experience, because one of the things that we are trying to do more and more is understand what the experience is as a researcher. Bugcrowd does a really good job of that. We're getting better at it, and the best way to do that is to hear directly from you. So if you've submitted to Microsoft previously, or if you thought about it and then didn't, we want to know why. So with that, Jay and Ashley and Vishal. Oh, and Ashley has something else to say. Never mind.
Oh, everyone was so shy earlier. If you have any questions that you don't want to come up and ask now, find any of us during the con and we'll be more than happy to talk to you. If we don't know the answer, like I'm Bugcrowd, I don't know anything about how Microsoft works, you can still ask me the question and I can text Chloe and get the answer for you.
I actually have some answers for that because I used to hunt for bugs for Microsoft as well for the web. But the reason for that is that I stopped because of Bugcrowd, and
Oh, you mean you got a job and you didn't have time to work anymore?
Yeah. During that time, you don't reward bugs for web during that time. But I love Microsoft parties. Yeah. So this is my third Microsoft party, but my first in the Philippines. Yeah.
Well, we hope that it will potentially be many more. That is actually a question we did get asked, is what does the future of Microsoft partnerships with researchers in the Philippines look like? And honestly, we're looking for researchers to work with. We want to hear from you. The diversity of thought and background and approaches, that's how we get diverse solutions to make our platforms and our products safer. So please reach out to us. Both Vishal and I think Vishal has his trading cards with him. We literally got them printed just for RootCon, and he doesn't bring them. It's okay. Find me. I will give you one of the trading cards. The trading cards has my email on it. Reach out to me. Even if you have a question for Vishal, I promise I will pass it directly to him. We just want to get to know you, and more importantly, we want to start hearing from you. So thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Please make sure, I think the food has all been cleared, but it looks like we've still got some drinks left. So feel free to keep socializing, and when we come around and wave and make you talk to us, smile and say hi. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your RootCon.
Me in the middle, I love it. We're just trying to figure everything